at this very minute. No, nothing. No reaction from anyone. God, I'm getting
We're on
less
to
funny by the day, I think.
you. We are so on to you.
Oh, all
If you
right.
hear any beeping in the background, that's my wife baking, by the way.
What is she making?
She's making pumpkin bars for tomorrow. We have a big get together tomorrow. So I'm doing some singing tomorrow. So
You sing?
Any more fan of the opera?
actually, this time I'm doing some Rat Pack, a little Frank Sinatra.
All
Oh,
right.
are you
Very
being
cool.
serious? You can actually sing?
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars.
Wow.
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
Fantastic.
I try.
Yeah. You're like that guy at the very beginning of The Godfather who sings during the wedding. Yes. Oh. Oh,
I've been
Katie,
singing for a long.
what are you waiting for, Katie? You keep distracting us with all this stuff.
Sorry. I should wait till after. My bad. Did you want me to intro or you?
Yes, why don't you intro?
All right. Well, then let's get this show on the road. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Ink, the talk show that takes you behind the book to meet the authors and professionals in the publishing industry. This week we have got a return author, Mr. Derek Bourne, here to tell us a little bit more about his awesome agent novels.
Awesome. I like that. I like to think they're awesome.
They are actually.
They are ultimate.
Here we go. Hold on.
Ah, there we go.
Got my bright shiny copy right here.
My baby.
Damn, that is a nice cover too. I like it. Do you make your own covers, Derek, or did you hire it out?
No, I got Molly Phipps to do my cover for me. She was awesome. I basically just gave her some ideas, and she took it to a whole other level, better than anything I expected. So if anyone ever wants to use her, she has her business called We Got You Covered. So
Heard of her.
She does fantastic stuff. Who's also in?
I've heard of her. She's on my list to talk to about recovering one of my series.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's awesome. She's patient. She knows what she's doing. She'll tell you what works, what doesn't. So
you almost need that because the indie author has to do everything, and we talk about this a lot on the show. And sometimes while you might have a great idea for what you want on your cover, you really need that keen eye of somebody who is an actual graphic artist or who knows about what looks good and what works together in order to come up with something that's actually going to be striking once it hits the virtual or the store shelves.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? What is that?
I'm Dumbledore.
That is awesome.
What's happening here?
He was going to get a laugh either way, wasn't he?
I actually don't have any bobbleheads.
No. Well, I don't think he's technically a bobblehead. He doesn't really bobble. I don't know. One of my kids got this for me as a Father's Day gift. Yes, Katie has. Who is that, Katie? Is that Tom Cruise?
This is Captain Jack Harkness.
Oh, Doctor Who represent.
Oh.
Hold on. And of course, you got to have 10.
Of course, you got to have 10.
What's 10?
Doctor number 10. Played by Matt Smith.
No, that's 11.
I have never watched a single Doctor Who. I feel like
Matt Smith is 11.
I feel like I'm really out of the loop.
Best. Hands down.
I could talk Doctor Who all day. I get into debates with people whenever I go to Comic-Cons about the doctors and who was the best and which assistants were the best, what companions they liked, and yeah, it's fun.
Although I haven't watched any of the new season that was out, I couldn't get past. I don't know, I just didn't like the new guy as much.
Really? Oh man, I thought he was so fun.
I couldn't get in.
Who is it? Benedict Cumberbatch? Isn't he the new guy?
No, actually, the new guy is a girl.
It's a girl.
Starting next season, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Which has been like an uproar in the internet.
Yeah, but that's okay though. It doesn't always have to be a guy. The Doctor can be whatever it wants, really.
Exactly. Exactly. But there are some really hardcore fans who are just appalled by having a woman as the Doctor. And I say, you know what? Let's see how she does.
Well, they just need to grow up. That's really all it is.
I'm so out of the loop here.
Well, see, and the Doctor as a branding device is excellent too, because we can kind of merge that into our storytelling. But the Doctor himself is a changeable character. Everything else around him kind of follows a certain order, but the Doctor is able to change. And as he changes, it actually creates a whole new dynamic within the world.
Yeah. And I like how, well, Stephen Moffat's gone now, isn't he?
Yeah, this was his last season. I think he's doing the Christmas special, and then that's it for him. And then they're bringing on a new guy, and I forget who the new guy, what shows he worked on.
Right.
But it'll be new director, new Doctor. Is it a new assistant?
I think it's new.
Yeah, they might be, because they killed. Well, they didn't kill her off. They kind of removed her in the last.
Yeah.
You're frozen, Katie.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Katie, I don't know if you can hear us, but you are locked up over there. It looks like you might have a bad connection going on.
It's like she's one of the weeping angels from Doctor Who.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you gotta get caught up. Binge on Netflix, my friend.
So tell me about your novel. What's your title?
So my book is called The Ultimate Agent. It's basically about a organization of the world's best spies that can actually give people powers and abilities.
Like supernatural powers and abilities?
Yeah, like you can have not just one power though. You could have like super strength, flight. You could be able to transform into anything you want. You could have the ability, like a psychic ability. But one of the questions within the book is how many powers can the human body handle on a genetic side of it? Like what would that do to your psyche or just your genetic structure?
So the agents of this organization are the ones that get the powers?
Yeah, and then there's also some who still feel they could rely on their gadgets. So there's very much still like a James Bond type feel to it, because a lot of people have actually said it feels like James Bond meets the Avengers.
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
You get the powers, and then you got the gadgets, and then the mix of the two with the two main characters, Devin and Brett. Neither one of them is the sidekick. They both can kick ass, really.
Okay, so what is the purpose of this spy agency? What do they do? What do they do in the world?
So things pretty much started out to find ways to try to better mankind. And then in the mythos of the book, there was an agent who ended up turning out to be an evil Russian guy. And he ended up taking it back to the motherland for his own organization. So therefore, there's now this terrorist group that can do the same thing. Now it's almost become like an arms race for superpowers.
Okay. So this sounds like a fantasy or a science fiction thriller. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to write. I'm having a lot more fun with the second one too, because it's going a bit deeper into genetics and what you can actually do in order to, say, make some hybrid creatures. So, because
we're not talking about centaurs here when we're talking about
hybrid creatures. If you wanted to. I mean, I have the one character saying, "Yeah, we even made the winged monkeys, like from The Wizard of Oz, just for kicks."
So, where did you come up with the kind of the idea for this story? Is it something you thought about for a really long time, or were you looking at the reader market and saying, "Well, this seems to be what people are into. I want to craft a story based on that," or where did it come from? Where did you come up with your idea?
When I was 14, I was talking to a friend, and it was right around when superheroes started getting more into the movies and that, and we both thought to ourselves, why not have like a superhero who was a spy or a spy who had powers? And it kind of just started from there and became something bigger. And so I originally wrote the first draft when I was 14. And just kept up with writing over the years, wrote the second one, wrote the third one. I actually have the fourth one on the back burner, about halfway done. But I've been taking the time to go back. I rewrote the first book because when I read it again at about, I'm almost 30 now, and I said, yeah, no, I gotta mature this up a bit. Because 14-year-old mind, right? Superhero always wins, always gets the girl, all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's phenomenal. So you're 14 years old and you sit down and you write a series of 3 novels.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
I used to come home every day and just write.
Wow, that's awesome. And when did you publish The Ultimate Agent?
Originally, I used a company called Blurb, and it was a very, very low key company. You're shaking your head as if you know of it.
Yep. Yeah, I've used them. It's been a few years, but I used to use them to print off photo books.
Okay, yeah.
Because they have a photo book side of their business as well.
Yeah. So I tried using them. Like, I downloaded their program, put everything into it. The only issues I had with it was it wasn't at the time when they actually published to Amazon.
Yeah.
So it was just friends and family that, asked to buy copies and all that kind of stuff. So it really never went anywhere.
Yeah, they were really on the kind of the beginning edge of things, but yeah.
Yeah. So I tried it with them. It didn't quite work out as well as I wanted it to. And then once I saw that I could make the jump to Amazon and kind of do things on my own again, then Saranofsky again gave me all the pointers and got a lot of help from other authors, other indie authors, which I totally appreciate the indie community. I didn't realize just how much camaraderie there was until, not even a week into it, and people were willing to help me out on so many things.
So now I know we talked about this before the show actually began, but could you tell me how did you meet Saranofsky and these other indie authors that were helping you?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when I was in Dystopian Authors, I didn't even know what like a launch party was or any of those things. And so I just answered a question on one of the posts and you could win a prize. So I ended up winning a paperback just from answering a question of what would you, I forget what the actual question was, but I answered it with either ice cream or pizza because those are 2 of my favorite things. And so kind of went from there, got in contact with her, got talking about it, and then she started asking me like, so do you write? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get my book off the ground. So she gave me tons of pointers, helped me out with, she actually had me do an author takeover on her blog. One of the first authors to do the takeover, and that was a lot of fun just to get more people to see me. And yeah, the rest is history. So
that's fantastic. And if you didn't catch it, that was Band of Dystopian Authors, that you were a group on Facebook that you connected with her through, right?
Okay. Yeah, that was the very first group I joined. So
that's fantastic. And I know
very grateful.
Katie has worked quite a bit with Band of Dystopian Authors too, haven't you?
I signed on with them right after they opened up. Am I still choppy over here?
Nice to have you back, though. No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
Okay, good. Oh, and there's the dog.
Yeah, and I think it was actually Katie that turned me on to Band of Dystopian Authors a couple years ago, and to check them out. And I will admit that I'm not terribly active in Facebook groups. I work a lot now, and so I have to be careful about where my time goes. Otherwise, I get sucked into this black hole of everyone's posts and comments. But I'll tell you what, for those of you out there that are looking to get into writing or have questions about writing or publishing, and Band of Dystopian Authors, those guys are phenomenal. There's a lot of good talent in there, and great, kind people that really just want to help each other. And I think that's one thing that sets the indie author community apart, is that we all just want to help each other. You know, we want to see each other do well. So it's a really cool community.
Yeah. And I find now too that I've got my own little group of fans, which I now call my friends, because honestly, let's be honest, they've gone from fans to friends. Like I have people asking me questions about their own writing. They'll send me stuff and I'll give them, you know, my best critique, and they appreciate it so much. I don't even realize that maybe I'm doing something that's really important to them, but I love that, you know, people are coming to me now. It's like, I don't know, I'm not a true professional by any means, but just to be able to have those friendships is awesome.
The student has become the master.
The master. Still the furthest thing from the master.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about, you know, superheroes and secret agents, that's a very, you know, line that they would use.
So how do you connect with your readers, Derek? Are you connecting mostly on Facebook?
Yeah, mostly Facebook. I wouldn't say I get a lot of connecting on Instagram. I do try to message some people, but it's kind of its own thing. And then I feel like I get lost on Twitter anyways. So Facebook's kind of my way of really getting to know the readers. Certain readers, certain bloggers have done some stuff for me. I don't know if you've ever heard the name Jo Lawless, but she is just awesome. She's helped me really get people to see my books also in different groups that I'm not even a part of.
What's her name?
Jo Lawless.
Jo Lawless?
Yeah, she works so hard. She's just been awesome. I always try to give her a shout out whenever I can, just because she deserves it.
That's fantastic. So you have you have your personal Facebook page and you have an author page. Do you also have a group that you run specifically for your fans?
Yeah, I have a group that's actually named The Ultimate Agency, which is the actual agency in my book. So
awesome.
Yeah, perfect. So it's kind of, and which is fun because when I write my books, I'm actually able to use, say, like a reader's name or an author's name as, like, you know, Agent Phipps or Agent Nofke, just to kind of, an organization, you might as well flesh it out.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And
it's kind of cool too, because then your readers are reading that and they're like, "What? Holy shit!"
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. So it's like a little family within a book.
Oh, that's really cool.
I like how you look for interactivity though too. When Derek messaged me, was it about a month ago? You asked if I could take a picture of your book with the Las Vegas sign because it's one of the locations in the book.
The very first chapter.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. I will say I actually had a picture ready for this, but I woke up one morning because someone had bought my book from Australia. And one of the chapters in my book, there's an action scene by the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Bridge. So I woke up to this picture right here one morning.
Wow, that is phenomenal.
So much more real, you know?
That is so freaking cool, man.
So then, of course, you go from that to getting this from Katie.
Nice.
When she told me she was on the ground taking this picture, it was this picture.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I'm like, wow, yeah, that would look strange. But she goes, yeah, no one asked any questions.
Yeah.
No, if you ever get a chance to see the Las Vegas sign, it is literally walled off in the middle of the road so that you can't really get in or out. And it's
I can believe it.
People and everybody holding up their cameras, taking selfies, you know, ducking down. Nobody cares.
Selfie sticks everywhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was fun to do, and I got a kick out of trying to get a good angle shot for it to make it so you could see the sign and not see people covering it, and it was fun.
Was it a camera or a phone? Because that was a very sharp picture.
It was actually my phone, but because of it being broad daylight, I mean, I had excellent lighting that day. I didn't even have to do anything with it.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I'm actually.
It's those kind of interactions, those little assignments, because you've got people excited about doing it. I see on your page that you have other locations you're looking for as well. So it's fun.
So I do have a book in Italy. So I'm waiting on the Colosseum, which she said should be soon. Sarah Noffke has one of my books, and because the agency is located in California, an undisclosed location, so she's going to take a picture of it with the coast. So just, I try to have fun with it, you know, you might as well.
And you have to. I mean, a lot of people, with the whole marketing thing, a lot of people get frustrated with just buying ads. Buying ads for either newsletters, subscriptions, buying ads for Facebook, buying ads for Instagram. It's all, you know, spending money to get your books out there. But what you're doing is you're creating a unique opportunity for people to get excited about the book and participate and, you know, see the locations in person.
Yeah. No, and you know what? I've got people that are even saying, because I said in the post on that group, even if there isn't a location used in my book, go to, you know, your town's best location or whatever, like a statue that we were talking earlier about, the one place in the States, it's escaped my mind, but even the Mothman statue. Like, she said she was going to try to climb the statue and put it in its hand and take a picture. She goes, if you don't hear from me, I'm probably got caught. And I'm in jail.
We'll see that would be the best. Reader in jail for taking something like my book. That's awesome. So now, how do you get people to be engaged like that? What is your how do you talk people into doing that? Why do they want to do this with you?
I guess they like me. No, you know what? Just actually creating a relationship with, you know, the readers. You know, a good friend of mine now that's a reader, she read it with her son, who was 12 years old, and he said it was a book that changed his life. So to be able to connect with someone like that, and unfortunately she's actually in the hospital right now. So I've been messaging her the last couple of days, just making sure, like, how are you doing today? Anything better? Really just showing interest in people. That's something that's I find is lacking in the world today. Like, to actually have a real connection with someone. It doesn't even matter if they're or not. I like to know about people. I like to know about their lives. If I can help in any way, I would love to. Like, there was even the blogger who's in Band of Dystopia now, Preston Lake.
Yeah.
With the Legendarium.
Yep.
So when he had a little issue that happened, I honestly, I felt so bad that I hate to actually tell people of things that I do, but I ended up sending him flowers. And he was blown away when his wife got home and she saw them. She goes, "Where are these from?" She didn't even know who I was.
So it sounds like you actually care, and that's
I try to care as much as possible.
I think that's a really, really good thing, especially in the world that we live in right now.
And again, like, I hate to toot my own horn, but it's just, I mean, Katie knows the one line in my book. If you have the ability to help someone else, you do it, no matter the sacrifice.
Yeah. I like that.
I live by that rule as close as possible.
I like that a lot. I do.
You know, the human connection, I think, is something we're lacking in all aspects. You know, life is too busy. We think we're so connected because we can email or text somebody at the drop of a hat, but we don't.
Yeah. And even sometimes when I message someone and it kind of comes across as awkward sometimes, and I'll actually say to them, I say, you know what? I'm not going to message you just because I need something. I want to get to know you.
And that's usually the thought that runs across people's minds is when somebody's messaging you out of the blue, you're like, okay, what do they want?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's never just a, hey, how's it going? Although when you message me, that's almost always what it is. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. No, I want to know what's new, what's going on in your life.
And it's nice. It's refreshing to actually connect with people.
Yeah. And again, like I've been able to make so many great friendships now. And I don't want to get too emotional because I am an emotional guy and I don't want to cry on this.
This isn't Oprah. I'm not going to make you cry.
Right. If it's a laughing cry, I'll go with that. But
and it sounds like and this is, and I think it's important. I think that a lot of us out there are looking for ways to connect with people, not just because we want to connect with people, but because we're trying to push our products, because we're trying to sell things. And I think that the difference with you is that you're so genuine and that you do care. And I think that that might be one of the things that draws people to you the most. And I'm not trying to discount your book because I haven't read your book.
No,
it's got a beautiful cover, and I'm sure that when I read it, I will enjoy it. But I think that you being genuine and you being who you are is what is drawing people to you, and I think that's a very special thing.
Yeah. I've actually been able to talk to some authors who I've you can tell right away they're almost hypocritical. And I've heard stories of people who have asked other authors to be a part of their release party. And there was one instance that they asked someone to do that, and they said, "Oh yeah, I read your book, loved it." And by the time the person signed up to be on the release party, they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I never actually got around to that book." So I try to really distance myself from that.
Well, and I am pretty terrible when it comes to Facebook politics and things like that. And I don't even know if Facebook politics is the right way to say it, but there are so many business owners out there, so many authors like us, and it's tough for me to connect well with him because I feel like at the back of everyone's mind is, I want you to buy my book, and I want people to read my books as well. I want people to read my stories, and I want them to share my stuff, but I don't know how to connect with all these business people very well. I find it tough. It's really impersonal. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not describing it very well, but I have a tough time with it because I feel like, I'll meet someone, we'll have a brief conversation. I'm like, okay, cool. This is a good person to be friends with. Okay, you've added me to your sales group. That's cool. You didn't ask me, but whatever. Yeah. That's fine. I'll check it out. And
I like your it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but the next thing you know, you've got your direct sales pitch coming, and yeah, so it is impersonal, and I think that what you're bringing to it is very refreshing, and I think that's cool, and it's inspiring. Yeah, I like that a lot. I spend a lot of my day connecting with people at really difficult times for them. Yesterday and today both were really tough days for me. I work at an animal hospital, and we've unfortunately have a lot of euthanasias very recently, and just these last couple of days happens to be people that I know outside of work that I'm personal friends with, and so it's tough caring.
Yeah.
It's tough being an emotional person, because it hurts, but at the same time, I think that people really need that. Whether it's in a hospital or your neighbors across the street or that person that you're connecting with on Facebook and sending flowers to who you may have never spoken to, but they're going through something that they really need a friend. So I think that's a good thing.
Horrible that now that I've changed work, like we were talking about earlier, I've gone from construction to retail. So I've been a lot more busy. I still try to keep those connections as much as I haven't really had too much time. Like I'm struggling to find time right unless there's a really funny day at the vendor spot. So when it gets slow, take the laptop, do the typity type, and I'll still try to just shoot someone a message if I can. That's still really important to me, because at the end of the day, and I know a lot of authors are struggling with this now too, with Amazon removing reviews and things like that, not even letting people post a review to begin with. Yeah, it hurts it, but for me, I'm not looking to be a millionaire. End of the day, there's more important things in my book.
Are you guys hearing the echo? Sorry, I keep hearing it.
Yeah, let's pause for Eric. Can we pause for about 10 seconds here? I'm getting a little bit of lag on Derek. Katie, you look okay, but we might just be trying to catch up on things.
Do we want to try a sign out, sign in, or? Geez, I'm hearing it on me too.
Hey, Derek, can you say something for me real quick?
My name is Derek Bourne. I'm a Canadian. Proudly.
Yeah, I hear it.
Actually, I don't have a beer tonight. I should have grabbed myself a beer.
Yeah.
All right, let's try. Derek, can you sign out and sign back in and see if that clears you?
I'll do the.
That's so just the hang up button?
Yep, just hit the hang up button and then click the link that Katie had sent to your email and come back in, okay?
All right.
Oh.
As I know that's going to kill us in editing with the echo.
I can't hear the echo on him, but I can see the lag between his lips moving and his voice, so I know there's some kind of connection issue.
I set you up on the control room as a shared control in case I have to back out. So it shouldn't shut us down because I've got major lag on my end.
Derek's coming back right now. I'm actually gonna hang up and then come back in as well.
Okay.
So I'll be right back.
Okay. Hopefully that'll clear it without me having to jump out and back in. Since I started it, sometimes it can create interesting hang-ups. All right, say something.
Gotta love it when technology works.
Technology. Don't get me started. I don't know what's up with the lag today, and I turned everything off.
I'm not hearing any.
Nope, no more echo. That's good.
I don't hear an echo on anyone right now. How do I sound?
You sound good. A little bit grainy.
Oop.
I just reduced the bandwidth on mine, which will make me a little bit grainy, but hopefully will speed us up.
Oh, shoot. You know what? I just told you I was coming back in, but I actually have to cut my time with you guys short tonight because I have another engagement that I have to go to right now.
Okay.
But Derek, it was really great talking to you. I look forward to chatting with you online and getting to know you because you seem like a really awesome guy.
Thank you very much.
So cool.
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for being on the show tonight, Katie. I'm sorry I've got to ditch you. I'll catch
no worries.
up with you.
We'll finish up our chat.
Okay, I'll catch you a little bit later.
Have a good rest of your evening. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
See you, my friend.
All right. So then it'll just be us. So we'll just jump right back into that topic though about Amazon and reviews because yeah, that's a big hot button issue we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, it's I find it funny because every once in a while I'll see one of their paid ads for like Amazon Kindle. Like I commented on one the other day, and within the article it said to really engage your readers and really grow your fan base. So I just wrote this little passive aggressive comment on their post saying, okay, so in this article you're saying this, once you become friends with your readers, all of a sudden they can't leave a review? Like, smarten up, you know?
Yeah, and I don't understand why they would be so stringent with the reviews. Reviews help people to want to buy the book.
Exactly.
So more reviews isn't necessarily a bad thing. And at least for me, when I look at reviews on things, I actually don't look at the 5-star reviews. I tend to look at the lower reviews to see what people are really saying. 1-star and 5-star are kind of my haters and super fans. Anything in between is what I'm actually going to look at to get my impression of whether or not the product is something I want, whether or not the book might be something I like. And that's what I'll focus on. So all of these extra fluff reviews don't mean anything to me.
I mean, people can still review on Goodreads, which is great. But like, I had someone read my book and she says, I'm just going to send this to you. So she sent me a picture of the review she left, even though Amazon wouldn't let her. So it's kind of like, okay, awesome review, but it sucks she couldn't put it on.
Well, and what it ends up doing is it just discourages people from wanting to leave reviews anyways. And it's hard hard enough as it is to get a legitimate review.
Oh my goodness. I'm still sitting at 18 reviews on Amazon, and my book came out May. Yeah, middle of May. So I've had people who left the reviews and had them taken off, and they try to put it back on. Amazon won't let them. It's a rigged system.
It is. I don't see any of the big 5 publishers being hit by anything like that.
Exactly. It's like even the New York Times bestseller list is a sham. So
yeah, that's true. Well, then over the summer there was that one lady who got her young adult novel top of the charts and then was kicked off the list once they realized what she'd done.
Exactly.
I remember reading that. It was all over. Every indie community was talking about it. And while I don't necessarily applaud her efforts, I do applaud the ingenuity behind it. Because as hard as it is for an indie to get any foothold in the marketplace, you almost have to, lie, cheat, and steal to get where you're at. Not saying it you should, but sometimes it feels like that's all you can do to get noticed. And while she did get noticed, she got a lot of bad press over it. And it wasn't the right way to go about things.
And I'm a little leery about even anthologies, because even that is a lot of money to put into something for all the marketing and that, right? And sometimes you don't even know if,
there's another author right now in the middle of a huge lawsuit because of anthologies, and she was a lady who ran multiple anthologies. I'm not even going to mention names. Those who are out there know who she is, know that it's an ongoing case right now. I believe they've just subpoenaed a whole bunch of new people.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, sometimes you really have to be careful who you work with. And you really need to get contract items spelled out before you sign on the dotted line. Because it can be very beneficial or it can be very detrimental, depending on what happens.
Yeah, that just, the one friend I was telling you about earlier, Joe Lawless, was saying she was talking to another one of our friends who was asked to do an anthology. And she said she looked over this contract and it was piecemealed together. So she kept asking questions until the person who was setting it up just gave up and gave the anthology to someone else to put together. So
I've never had good experience with the high buy-in anthologies. Now I may not have gotten a lot of sales or a lot of new readers from the lower ones, the ones where we don't have to put in a huge buy-in, but where we kind of share expenses. But I've had a better experience, I think, with the shared expenses, and we all know what we're putting into it. We all kind of, add in our own marketing and kind of work off of each other rather than dump in a huge amount of money at the forefront and then hope it works.
Yep. And, I've been told you can make it without anthologies. It does almost seem like it's never going to happen, but I'm willing to fight hard, and I'll make as many friends as I can, because I know it's been mostly word of mouth for me with all the people that I've been getting to know, because they always say, oh yeah, I'm probably going to gift this book for my son or a good friend of mine. So as long as I'm getting that, I'll take it.
Well, you're building an organic fan base right now, which is good. depending on which viewpoint you're looking at. There are some people who are just in it for the money, and they want to churn out books, and they want to reach as many people as possible, and they build those 30,000 plus subscriber mailing lists, and they really don't have that connection with their readers, whereas you're connecting one-on-one with readers. It's a slower build, but that doesn't mean that you won't make it. And the readers that you're bringing with you, they're going to be those real, true readers who they know you. They know, what you're going through. They feel like they're a part of your world. And as you put out more books, they're going to really have that excitement for it too.
Yeah. I've even, for those who've already read The Ultimate Agent, and I've already got first chapter of the sequel rewritten, I've sent them first chapter just to even see what they think. And it's been good to get their feedback, and even just to see their excitement of, okay, where's this book gonna go now? Like, it's still the same world, but it's almost a different tone a little bit to a degree. I try not to get off the beaten path of what I've already got, but I'm really excited to see what people think of the next installment.
Now, you said you're up to 4 already pre-written. You're just revising, right?
Yeah, it's still in the preteen mind of Derek Bourne.
But at least you've got the outline, though. I mean, that's always a start.
It's the skeleton. I'm just really adding the guts now. So, and it's been fun. I've working to reinvent characters to a degree where they really actually have a personality compared to when I first wrote them. And they were just kind of bleh. So
you've given them a soul at this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, are you working with a developmental editor at all, or are you just going off of reader feedback and betas that are giving you more of the line item?
Some reader feedback. When I first published Ultimate Agent, I never had an editor before when I was a preteen, but this time around, I ended up, getting a good, excellent, good quality editor. She took me to school on so many things. So I've really taken even her book, Shut Up and Edit, is an awesome book for anyone who just wants to do their own kind of editing, still get an editor, but that book taught me so many things. So I've really taken that and added it to the whole rewriting process because I know what she would look for. So now for me, it's making sure I do that throughout. Once it's done though, I do have another editor that it'll be going to, plus a proofreader, because I did have a proofreader read the first book and she actually found some things. So I said, I appreciate that. So you're going to get a free copy of the second one just to go through.
I think that's excellent, because a lot of indie authors kind of not necessarily skip over that, but they don't really look at the different types of editing that's out there. Yep. They write the story, they may have a beta reader look at it, and then they just grab a quote unquote editor. But there are line item editors, there's copy editors, there's developmental editors, there's different levels of editing, and some books need more of one and less of the other, but it's a step you really shouldn't skip over.
Oh, hands down. And you get what you pay for most of the time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It is costly to go through multiple edits, but it can be worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, I've really appreciated all the feedback I've gotten so far. I'm just so excited. I really want to get the second book out. I know it's been almost 6 months, but life's just been so crazy. I wish I had more time to come home and sit down in front of the computer and just write for hours and hours, but life just finds a way to get in there and mess things up.
Tell me about it. Well, and November was National Novel Writing Month, and
I didn't even sign up for that because I knew it wasn't going to happen.
See, for me, I usually write 1,000 words a day. That's my daily goal. And I went into it thinking, yeah, I can easily do this, no problem. I've done it before. I bombed hard for November.
Yeah, it was rough. I didn't realize how busy retail would be, especially this time of the year when we're getting closer to the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus, there was a lot of for the olive oil and balsamic, a lot of pre-bottling, just making sure we had enough stock for the shows and everything we've been doing. So that's taken some time, but I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but I just really want to get the book out there. And I know once that book's out there, I'm going to have probably some fans mad at me because of what may happen. So
spoilers.
And it'll take longer for the third one to come out, so people will be banging on my door. But
now, what's your plan with the books when you've got, you've got the second one coming out? When you've got the series and you've got them in print, are you planning on doing any trade shows? I know, I don't know where in Canada, and I apologize for that, but isn't there a major writing conference that happens out there? Trying to remember what the name
probably is. I haven't looked into it. The only thing for me as of now is the place where we actually have our vendor market spot. I talked to the manager because they've actually had local authors in to that building. So she was saying, yeah, just order your books and come in and, see what happens. I don't know how much they would advertise. I think I would have to do most of the advertising, but hey, why not?
Now we've talked to a publicist a couple of times who actually works out of Canada, and he's the one who told me about the big major conference. God, I wish I could.
That's Mickey, right?
Mickey, yes.
Yeah.
And he also talks about, you guys have chapters up there. We have Barnes and Noble, and you guys have chapters, which is essentially a similar company.
Yep.
Only from what I understand, they are super friendly about bringing authors in for shows and signings.
Okay. I didn't even know about that. I should really do more researching.
Well, I've often found that the online sales is all about pitching and about, like I said before, buying ad space. But when you go to a live event, when you do a show, when you do a signing, and you're actually able to interact with your readers or potential readers, you can do a lot more of that connecting, and you can really get people excited, and it's a fun experience.
Yeah. In the beginning, I didn't have much of swag to actually give away until I actually had a friend I've made now on Facebook who is planning on something really big in the new year to it's almost like an indie author loot crate kind of idea. So he asked me, I want to buy a bunch of books off you. And if you even have like some book plates and bookmarks, I would love to have them and just give them out to people. And I've showed him other authors, and he goes, yeah, I want to have them in my loot crate now. So for me, that's really exciting. No contract or anything, but I mean, he said he was willing to buy my book, so why not?
I've done that once before, and that was so exciting because it's that whole like blind date with a book thing. People just randomly find you and fall in love with your work. And I think how it worked out for me was they bought the books basically at my cost plus shipping. So whatever I could buy it from the printer plus them. So I wasn't making any money off of it, which wasn't really the goal. It was to get new readers, but it was so exciting to be able to participate in one of those.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really eager to see how that works out. But
I think that's awesome. You'll have to let us know how that works out for you, and we'll cheer you on. And let me know what the link is, because if he's got like a sign up to buy them, I would love to do that.
Yeah, he's got the backer. He's actually also a Goodreads librarian, so I think that kind of means he's good. He's safe. So, but I'm really excited to see where it leads.
I'll be honest, I leave Goodreads alone.
Yeah.
I do. I figure, Goodreads is its own beast, and it's a lot of people on there, and that's wonderful. I never could figure that side out, and I found it to be, in the realm of reviews, it was a lot harsher than anywhere else. So I kind of just, instead of, growing a thick skin, I just choose to ignore it, and I don't want to see what the reviews are over there.
Yeah. I will say it's exciting when you go on and you see, oh, somebody shelved my book. Yay. They're going to read it. It's on their actual read list right now. So
that's true. I would like to see that. Amazon doesn't give you any of that.
No.
How many wish
I mean, you can see the little graph of how many pages someone's read, and that's about it.
I'm actually stepping out of Kindle Unlimited for a little bit.
Are you? Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of readers tell me that they wish that my books were available in different markets. And while I would like to be able to dump everything into the wider market, I've never really been able to get a good foothold in either Kobo or Nook. Now, iBooks, I do tend to get some good upswing when I go wide, but the other two, they don't really go anywhere. So I pulled out my Immortalis series, which is my first series, and I moved that over into wide distribution. And I just sent out a newsletter to everybody letting them know, hey, if you've been waiting on these books, now they're available, go grab them. And I'm going to see over the next, month or so, especially through the holiday season, if they're gaining any traction, if it's worthwhile to do it. And then I should be exiting my Kindle Unlimited for the other series, and I can start filtering those in. But if not, then I'll swing back the other way, because I got to go where I actually see people reading my books.
Right. I've been seeing more authors going into Ingram Spark. And I'm kind of curious about that, because honestly, I would love to have The Ultimate Agent in hardcover.
Ingram Spark is actually pretty good. I used them way back in the beginning. And the only reason I switched was cost effectiveness. I wasn't doing a lot of trade shows. I wasn't doing a lot of live events. And they are a little bit more expensive on the beginning end of things. As far as your proof copies go, as far as your shipping goes, as far as there's distribution fees you pay every year for them to include your book into the network. So there's a few different setup fees that CreateSpace doesn't charge you. Right. But you do have a lot more control over your pricing, your discounting, your ability to get into a Barnes and Nobles or a Chapters, because you have the ability to make your books returnable, which is what the bookstores look for.
Right. The only issue I've been having with CreateSpace is when I order copies, I'll have some show up where, like, the first page of my book, there's a white line at the bottom where there's an image that takes up the entire page, except for that little white line. And then for the rest of the book, there's no page numbers at the bottom at all. So I'll phone them up and they'll send me, the free copies to make up for it. Even in that batch, there's missing page numbers. So they have to send me more. I ended up, the one time that happened to me, I had 4 separate, boxes of books come to replace ones that had mistakes. And at the end of it, I also wrote them an email. I said, so along with this, you think you could send me an extra copy for the hassle and then another copy because of the reviews that are missing from my book? And they sent me the extra copies.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder, but this little box right here is filled with all of one type of book because of the same thing you just said.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
They what they did was they shifted just like a quarter of an inch to where the title was like slowly falling off of the front cover. And so I could it was almost like a flip book where you could just flip the different books and see the title move.
Oh man.
And it took about 3 tries for me to box the titles.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I've been trying to think of how I can use those books. I had one friend say, you should have it so that the person actually has to search through the book, and there could be like a certain page they have to go to, a certain paragraph, certain line, certain word, go to the back, fill something out, and end up, finding out little secrets about the book or something like that.
That's kind of cool.
So I was like, hey, you know what? It's a spy novel. Why not? So we'll see if that happens.
I usually partner up for Phoenix Comic-Con with another author, and she has one of those big raffle drums. So what we'll do is we'll take our botched copies of books, which the inside is fine. It's the outside that's a little messed up. And we'll put them in for a free raffle. And
there you go.
People can take a ticket just for showing up. They can take a ticket and see if they match up with a book. And if they get it, great. If not, they can come back the next day and try again. And it gets people to come to the booth, which is what you want. You want people to stop at the booth. And it gives people an opportunity to win something without having to buy, which is another, exciting thing for them. And once you get them over, you can actually start talking.
Yep. I am curious to see how many people would actually mind if there wasn't page numbers. I really don't know.
I don't think a lot of people will. I mean, if they know about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
if
I
they
would
know
totally.
you're selling copies.
Yeah, I would let them know ahead of time. But
Or you sell them at a heavy discount so that you can at least cover your shipping cost or whatever.
True.
Because that's usually the killers, the shipping cost.
Yeah.
Now, working with CreateSpace, do they have a plant in Canada, so you're not having to pay any extra on the shipping?
It's still the U.S.
Oh God.
Yeah, it comes up, but it's not bad. I can handle it.
International shipping just kills. Even if it's just across the Canadian border, I can't believe how much they charge.
I know. Even for our olive oil and balsamic, we get truckloads of stuff, and even just to use the thing on the back, the ramp, if they actually have to engage that for our skids of stuff, it's $100. Oh my God. Just gouge people even more. We've already paid the American dollar to have this brought up from California, so why not spend another $100
for a ramp?
for a ramp? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well,
everybody's got to make their money though.
Exactly.
That's how it is. Well, and that's what keeps driving the cost of things up too.
Yep.
If it weren't for all of the extra little costs involved, we could sell our books at a rock bottom rate. But then the way it is now, we have to make some money. So then we end up having to move our prices up, and then our books look ridiculously expensive in comparison online.
Yeah. And if anyone asks, just say, hey, you know what? Price of oil went up. My book's that price because of that.
That's one of the reasons I do like going to trade shows and like Comic-Cons, because I'll set the price at what I need it to be. Yep. And it will generally be cheaper than what you can buy it for on Amazon. So that way I can tell people, I'm like, hey, you can get it for me today. I will sign it. And we'll have a picture or whatever, make it a good experience for you. And you're saving money instead of, taking my card and saying, I'll look at it later.
Yep. I'll even try to sell some of my books at our olive oil store in our little vendor spot. I've had people come up and look at it, and I pre-sign them all. I just leave a little bit at the top so I can, put agent, whatever their name is. And they ask me how much it is, and I tell them the price. They go, that's it? Which makes me feel better, because they're like, yeah, this could totally go for more money. I'm like, well, I don't necessarily want to gouge people either,
Right. Our ultimate goal is to get people to read the books.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I've even had, it was funny, last night I was at the vendor spot, and I had this girl that I went to school with walk up, who actually kind of bullied me a little bit in school, like one of the emotional bullies, So as soon as I saw her, I walked up, gave her a big hug. I said, hey, haven't seen you in a long time. Started talking, showed her my book. She goes, can I have a copy? I'm like, yeah, you can have a copy. I'll take your money. Kind of like the nerd's revenge,
Exactly. I like that. Did you get a picture with her too?
No picture. No. I was like, yeah, now you can say, hey, I went to school with that guy, in the back of my mind. Hey, yeah, I bullied the guy that wrote this book. No.
You ever write characters into your book?
We were all kids.
Oh yeah, kids are mean.
Yeah.
Do you ever write some of your childhood bullies into books?
Actually, in book number 2, yeah, they meet their demise.
Get a little catharsis in there.
A little bit.
I like that.
I won't name names.
You just change one letter out of the name. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-oh. I hear people coming back. That must mean my hour is up.
Uh-oh. Run. Hide.
Well, I moved my office out from the room that it was in into the living room, because we're shifting all the bedrooms around. So my oldest daughter is going to be moving into what was the office, and she's going to have her teenage big girl room.
Right.
So we're in the middle of the transition right now. So I'm really just out in the open.
Yeah. Hey, you got to do what you got to do to make it work.
Right. Well, I figure, you know, she's a teenager. She's going into high school next year. She really does need that, you know, privacy space.
Mm-hmm.
And with the two littles, because there's such a gap between my kids, it's kind of like they're always getting into her stuff. They're doing the bratty little brother and sister thing. And, you know,
I never had to deal with that. I'm an only child, so.
I was the bratty little sister.
All right. At least you admit it.
I would sneak into my brother's room and play as Atari.
There you go.
So I figured she's ready for it, and we're going to give her her own space, and then the littles will be upstairs terrorizing themselves.
Nice. That should work out pretty good, I would think.
It will. And I've kind of like built a makeshift wall out of cubicles right now into my living room. So it's a partially walled off space. Totally not up to code, though. Totally not.
Who's going to check, though?
Nobody will see.
He'll be fine.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a pleasure catching back up with you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
And have fun at your party tomorrow. Hope the singing voice holds up.
I will do my best. Actually, the last time we had a get together, I was sick leading up to the night, and I was supposed to do a song from Phantom of the Opera and a song from Les Mis. No, it was the year before. It was the first year we did it. And I was supposed to do 2 songs from Phantom. And I went up to a friend. I said, do you have any halls? I need something before I go on stage. She goes, yeah, I have a halls. So then I went up. Thankfully, I sang with no issues. So those videos are actually on YouTube.
I've seen the videos. You sent them to me a long time ago. And I was like, I can't believe you can sing like that. That's awesome.
I do my best. So I figured I'd break off from the Broadway, because I've done Broadway the last 2 years, and do some Rat Pack. So,
there you go.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. No.
All right, then. Well, you have a great evening, and we will catch up with you again.
All right.
And for all of our viewers out there, thanks for watching this week. We will be back next week with more authors to introduce you to.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
All right.